Dre's World.
All right, so apparently Chud then found a loophole when it comes to paying that $1.2 million bond. We got Poetic Flacco covering the story, so let's get into it.
Chud and his team of white supremacists are criminals. These people are nefarious and sketchy in every way possible. Chud and the hooligans and the criminals who work on his team has found a workaround to a judge's order. So a judge ordered that Chud bond has been reduced to $1 million, but he can't use any of the donations the racists donated to him, right, during his GoFundMe when he got locked up. He can't use any of that money. Well, the hooligans has found a workaround, people.
I'm in trouble in Nashville where he was on bond, and then in Clarksville, he does this. Social media is the common denominator, so let's get you off of that right now, okay? And as far as the money for the bond, let me come back, and I'm going to say that, and then I'm going to show you some more videos, but there's your boy Chud without his shave, okay? Now, the thing about the bond money, there is allegedly an online benefactor who's prepared to pay the money, an anonymous benefactor. He cannot use his GoFundMe money, or pardon me, the Give, Send, Go money, because that money was not raised for that purpose. And if you use that money for that purpose, it's called fraud. Also, Give, Send, Go's own policies say that you cannot use this platform to raise money for people who are charged with this kind of crime. So you can't use that money. Again, it was not raised for that purpose, and the policies of Give, Send, Go say you can't do it.
Can somebody please explain to me how a judge has the legal authority to say that somebody's not allowed to use their donations for bail money? This makes no sense to me. I don't understand how a judge has a legal authority to say that, hey, yeah, somebody gave this to you, but it's no good here. You're not allowed to use that. That doesn't make any sense. I don't understand how they can legally do this. I think it's garbage. I've never known of any of the minority groups, whenever they go out here and commit these crimes, and they fundraise, I've never once known them. As a matter of fact, I remember Kamala Harris raising money for Antifa and BLM protesters, and I don't remember any of them being denied bond or bail because that money was fundraised. Somebody explain this to me, why this man is being singled out.
He tried to murder somebody else.
Exactly. He tried to fucking kill somebody. That's why. That's why he's being denied. The fuck is wrong with people, man?
Out of a courthouse. But that's not the point here, okay? These people are freaking criminals, bro.
Oh, my God.
Whatever they say about us, whatever stereotypes they try to put on us, it applies to them. These dudes came out and made a public statement. They said, hey, we know the judge, the sitting judge, you know, who wears the robe, who got the gavel, an entire appointed judge. Well, we don't care about his ruling. He said that we can't use the money that people donated during the Give, Send, Go to pay the bond. People have donated almost $300,000 now. You can't use that money. So these criminals who don't care about the law, they're defiant, they're lawless, and they're probably going to get away with this too. They say, hey, do any wealthy person here, do any rich and wealthy person here want to help pay this bond? We can't use the Give, Send, Go money to pay the bond. However, if you help pay the bond, whatever it takes, you know, the $100,000 plus collateral to pay your bond, well, we'll just give you the $300,000. So if you pay the $100,000 and put up some collateral, well, we'll give you $300,000. So they're still using the Give, Send, Go money. They're still using the donations to pay his bond. They're just doing it indirectly. So the judge says you can't use the money to pay the bond, so we'll just pay you. Then you pay the bond with your money. Well, then, you know, we didn't. These absolute criminals, and guess what? It actually worked. Because somebody has now came forward to say they are going to pay Chud's bond. Aiden Ross' best friend and homie, Paul Miller. If you guys don't know who Paul Miller is, then you are very fortunate. You are very lucky that you don't know who this guy is. Let's just say this. This is the only man on the internet who's probably worse than Chud. And that's saying a lot. He is probably worse than Chud, and that's saying a lot. So he got a sponsor because a lot of these dudes have ostracized themselves from society. that they can't really work no real job. They aren't really allowed on any platforms where they can monetize. So they have to latch on to other white supremacist organizations. Now, he got a sponsor. I'm not going to say their names, F him, right? But they are a casino. Now, apparently the sponsor, right, who sponsors Paul Miller to call random black children the N-word on Omegle and these other sites, now wants to pay Chud's bond. They want to put up the $100,000 and the collateral. I would imagine. I don't think they're paying the whole $1 million upfront. I think they're paying the $100,000 plus the collateral. These people are openly bragging about working around and circumventing a judge's order. A judge, and they're just openly allowed to do this. Now, apparently, the sponsor have came forward wanting to do this. They have contacted the courts. Now, it hasn't been.
Of course, they're allowed to do it, Poetic. They've been doing it for years, man. They've been doing it for years. They've been doing this shit for years. The rules don't apply to them. They only apply to us. So
done. Chud is not released yet, so maybe the court is fighting back against this. Maybe the judge saying, "Hold on, bro. Like, what's the purpose of this?" Because also, too, you can't bond somebody out under the premise they're gonna work for you, right? Because if you guys remember, when Keefe D, the alleged killer of Tupac, when WAC 100 and others were trying to bond him out, they couldn't bond him out because his bond was contingent off he will do a documentary and turn over his life rights to this company for them to make back their money. The judge says, no, that's not allowed. So I don't think this sponsorship or this company can bill out Chud and then have Chud pretty much go on their site and bring them all the clout. I don't think the judge would allow that. So I do believe there's going to be a hearing to figure out where the money is coming from and why they're trying to bill out Chud. But this is just absurd and crazy, man. But more absurd and madness, right? Chud's team has officially written a letter to black people, right? And by black people, I mean Daryl Davis and the Hodge twins, okay? So they have wrote a public letter to one black content creators, the Hodge twins. Like we don't claim those people, but they wrote an open letter to these black folks, and in the open letter, they are asking these black content creators to help fix Chud's public relations with black folks. You can't make this stuff up, man. What? Why must y'all bring us in? Leave us alone. It's too late. You did too much, bro. Leave us alone. You not fixing nothing with us, bro. Leave us alone. In this open letter, they're asking Daryl Davis, a black man, to advocate for Chud, to come to court and advocate for Chud, use his platform to advocate for Chud, and to let the world know that Chud's bond is unfair and that Chud is being unfairly persecuted because he's a white man. They want a black man to do this for them, okay? Let's read this open letter, people. This letter is just as ridiculous as you think it is. So it goes, Mr. Davis, my name is Ricky Cisco. I'm writing because a situation is unfolding in Montgomery County, Tennessee that I believe connects directly to the principles you spent 30 years acting on successfully against all odds. A man named Dalton, the same nonsense, bro, all right? Chud is sitting on $1 million bond for attempted murder. The evidence shows self-defense. It doesn't. Now, they claim they pulled every murder in an attempted murder case from Montgomery County, and not one exceeds $250,000, and the average bail is between $2,500 and $250. So Chud is being dealt, a raw deal, et cetera, right? Now he goes, Chud is the victim in this situation. Poor Chud is the victim. They said Chud lost his livelihood after he was targeted online and had his professional connection severed. He was talking online. He didn't call a black woman and her daughter the N-word in public, though. He didn't choose to call a black woman and her daughter a N-word in public, but he's the victim. Let's continue, okay? Black Lives Matter followed him for a year, making sure he couldn't work over a single event. Live streaming became his only way to pay bills. His content was confrontational, and he used language that most people will call offensive. He did not walk on eggshells around anyone. Now they are bragging about how he went around and called black people the N-word, and he was brave enough to do this in black people's faces, and he didn't walk on eggshells. So this is a badge of honor for him. So why are you now complaining that you got what you asked for? Now here's the nonsense, okay? They write, here is the part that matters. Over time, something happened that your work predicts. Black people started engaging with him, not because he softened his language or performed like deference, because he didn't. He treated people as people, roughly but directly, without managing them as a demographic. Some black viewers and people he encountered began to respect. Show me the black people, man. Who began to respect Chud, calling him the N-word. Right? Black people began to respect him precisely because he refused to perform the script. The moments of genuine connection in his content, the handshakes, the real conversations, the mutual laughter are the most human moments in any of it, and some of the most powerful I've ever seen. You have said when two enemies...
Listen, bro, I haven't paused it too much. I'm trying to refrain, bear with me. But I'm telling you right now, the shit that they're saying in this letter to this African-American man begging for help, it screams mental illness. It screams mental illness, and I'm sorry, but hey, buddy, Chud and your partner, the Mr. Cisco, y'all need some help, bro. Because if y'all think for 1 second that, man, come on, man. And if he do that, man, I hope and pray he don't. Don't write no motherfucking letter for them at all. Like,
enemies are talking, they're not fighting.
What?
They're talking. It's when the talking cease that the ground becomes fertile for violence. This is exactly what was happening, authentic engagement across racial lines. So they're now saying that Chud, going around calling black people the N-word, was actually fixing race relations in America. These people is pissing on your back and telling us it's raining. Chud going around calling black people the N-word while at the same time simultaneously threatening to put 10 slugs in us.
Yeah.
Is actually him fixing race relations. Oh, he was a genius. Oh, but oh my God. Y'all are just trifling human beings. Trifling, man. Now, if we scroll down here, okay? And he goes, listen, man, and listen, Daryl, this case is an opportunity for you to demonstrate the same principles you have spent your life proving. That authentic engagement across racial lines, even when it is rough and uncomfortable, produces more genuine connections than any managed dialogue ever has. And that the system, which profits from division, not Chud, who's calling us the N-word. He's not the one who does being divisive, right? The system, okay, cool. And the system, which profits from division, will attack anyone who demonstrates that connection is possible without institutional permission. You were attacked by BLM activists who called you a pimp and a sellout for engaging with Klansmen. You kept going because you knew the principle was sound. The principle has not changed. I am not asking you to endorse Dalton or his language. I am asking rather you see the dynamic I see, and rather you will be willing to have a conversation about it. The bail data, the constitutional argument, and the full analysis are available if you want to review them. So now they're saying, we need black people, man. Man, listen, man. We need black people, man. Listen, man. If we're going to have a serious conversation about how Chud is being treated unfairly, we need the black token. Even though Chud spent weeks and a month calling us useless, disrespecting us, saying our culture is worthless, we don't deserve to live around white people, and now he's locked up, and the first people they call on is black folks. Now they need the black token to come and advocate for Chud and be at the forefront of the movement to prove, hey, we're not racist. Everybody is against us. Look at black. Nah, not working. I would say there's no chance that a black man in America will 0% chance that any black man will see this and say, yeah, let me stick up for Chud. Let me stick up for Chud, you know? Let me put my name and reputation on the line. I would like to say there's 0%, but I would be wrong. I would be wrong, bruh. And we don't want to accept the reality, but be real. Do you really think that Chud and these hooligans won't be able to get a black man to co-sign him for, let's say, a $50,000 fee? You think Chud won't be able to get one of these dudes to turn for a $50,000 fee? It just goes to show, man.
This will go to show. I'm gonna tell you right now.
Dre's world.
He tried it.
Listen, man. This is the true definition of you don't need a nigga until you need a nigga. See, the thing is that he didn't need us. We was worthless. We was trash. And now that you in trouble, you need us. See what I'm saying? See how the tables turn a little bit?